What? Oh, wait, what's that sweatshirt about? What's the little?
So it's actually slightly controversial. This is this is Kanye West merch from when he had that like Jesus time in his life.
Okay.
So it says Holy Spirit on the front. You might be able to. Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
It says Holy Spirit, and then it says Sunday service on the mountain or something at the back.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of dope. It's got like flavors on it.
I like the colors.
Like they're a lot of fun. I got like 3 or 4 because they were selling them on Vinted for like £2. Obviously, you know, Kanye, bless his cotton socks, is a broken man. And, you know, on a genuine note, I think he definitely needs Jesus. And so we're praying for him. But, like, obviously there was that just period of time when he was doing fantastic stuff. You know, he was making really, really cool music that was out there and that was edgy and that was worship, but not like your traditional worship.
Yeah, it was reaching a different audience for sure. Yeah, we talked about that on the pod as well, too.
I think we did, yeah. Because also, like, what a gifted... producer.
I know.
Oh my days, he's been he's been in the game longer than we've been alive. So it was great to see that. And I don't know, I think there's probably one thing or another. I think like genuinely just the way his mind has gone is an attack from the devil, to be honest. Just seeing the space that he was in and what he was doing, I think he's really been under attack. So anyways, like not someone who I'm listening to or following or certainly not backing his mindset right now. But during that space of time, he was making cool clothes. He was making cool music. Yeah, I backed him. So, yeah. Like I said, slightly controversial, but they're nice and they're very comfy.
Yeah,
and they were very cheap on Vinted because maybe people were like, yeah, I'm not here for that.
Let me sell this on sale real quick. A little flash sale for you.
Whoops. Yeah.
Speaking of being quick,
it was good.
I heard you do a little running today, huh? Welcome back to the SpewnedIt Podcast.
Yeah, got involved in my first park run. So I have started running more recently. I got quite a nice pair of running shoes just given to me. We had you guys may remember this. We had a friend of ours from New Zealand, like a family friend.
Yeah.
Came over here for a little bit of time. He's called Lucas. Came over for a little bit and basically, I mean, had a great time here, but I did the same thing when I went over to be with his family, to be fair. Started like accumulating stuff, and then it was his time to go back, and he's like, I do not have the space for half of my stuff. And one of these was quite a nice pair of Nike running shoes, and he was like, look, Joel, I don't have space for these. Do you want them? And I was like, yeah. Don't think I used them for a decent little while, but then more recently started getting into running. I was like, actually, these are really good. So started using those, and then my brother Dan, he's gotten into it too.
Cool.
And so like basically, we've just started doing that loads more and getting like involved with this little community in our friendship group of just people who are running. And then this 5K popped up. They do these every weekend in like loads of different locations around Derby and around the UK, to be fair. But there were like 500 people.
Wow.
And so did a 5K, did it in sub 24 minutes. I've got the email just right here in front of me. I did 23:44, which is pretty good. So it's a pace of about 4.5 kilometers per. No, wait a minute. Which way round am I trying to say?
4.5 minutes a kilometer.
4.5 minutes a kilometer. Yeah, not 4.5 kilometers every minute. Even though that would be quite impressive. That would be good. That would be blistering.
That'd be
but
setting.
So it was cool. Look, there's a first time for everything. There's a Derby 10K coming up, which I might sign up for.
Okay.
My brother Dan is already locked in. But so it was good. It was a lot of fun. And it was also just so comforting to see people going out. We're recording this on a Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon now for me.
Yeah.
But it was so amazing to see people going out on a Saturday morning and choosing to run. Like, actually, on a quite genuine note, it restored my faith in humanity. I was like, actually, you know what? This is cool. I really, really like to see this, rather than everyone just being like, oh, it's the weekend. I'm just going to, sleep in and just bleh. I was like, no, this is really cool. So I'm hoping to make that a bit more of like my, hopefully just a weekend schedule. Sometimes, obviously, and there are like people in situations, I understand you can't always do that. But when you can, I think it's such a fantastic thing to do. So look, if you're in the UK, go on a park run. Just give it a try. Who knows? You don't need to do it in a particularly fast time. Just show up.
Yeah.
See what happens. But yeah, I don't know, gents. I had a great time with it. Have you ever done anything like this? Like, what, park runs in the US, like a thing?
I think they are. Yeah, I've never been a distance runner of any kind. I think the most I've probably ever run in one time is like 2 miles, and you could barely call that a run. I probably just jogged it on the treadmill, half walking, half running. So I could not compare to that timing. But what I did do, and what I have been doing a little bit more recently, is track. And so I was always Mr. Sprinter Man, and I'm not particularly fast at that either. But when you put a couple hurdles between, myself and the finish,
he was the hurdle boy. He was the hurdle man.
I will say it equalizes the speed out a little bit. It lets a taller person with a little bit of flexibility at the time, not now, have a little bit, ease that gap between myself and the more athletic kids. So yeah, no, I actually just recently got the very cool opportunity to coach at the high school where I ran track. No. And so I am their new hurdle coach for this season. So my old coach kind of had to step away because of his job situation changed, so he wasn't able to make it to practices anymore. And since I'm working in the school district, still doing subbing, I'm able to just finish my school day, and then I jet over there to the track and
step in.
Just had my first full week last week, and then I did about a half a week the week prior. Is that their coming into their third week of track now, so been getting to know the kids, been running through their workouts. We just had our first meet on Thursday. It was kind of the intro meet, jamboree they call it, and so we had 5 schools, tons of runners. Similar kind of feeling. It's cool to see people getting out there doing something athletic, choosing to spend their time that way. It definitely
for sure.
There's definitely something to be said for like physical activity and being outside, just like lifting your mood.
Without a doubt, man.
And definitely the community as well. But this meet was wild. As I said, there was 5 schools. And part of the reason why I got hired in the first place was because the school that I'm at, Jackson High School, has 280 kids signed up for the track team. Massive.
Whoa.
Massive. Wow. I will say, not that many show up every day. But I think we have a strong 150, 175 that are like still actually involved, which is still massive. Still massive.
That's great, man. That's so good.
Which is really cool. So I have a massive hurdle crew. There's like 15 to 20 of us, a bunch of beginners, a bunch of kids who maybe did it in middle school, but it's a little bit different in high school. They add the 300 hurdles. They don't have that race in middle school. They just have the 100s.
Okay,
and the jamboree, they cut down a lot of the events because there's so many people running with 5 schools. So they just had the 100 meter open, 400 meter, 800 meter, 300 meter hurdles, and mile for the running events. And they had high jump, long jump, no triple jump, and then a couple of the throws. But we had 22 heats of the 100 meter dash.
Wow.
That's 8 runners per heat, 22 times.
Yeah.
It was insane. So we ran it
like
on both straightaways on the track. We ran it on the standard one, and then on the back stretch, they put out a tape to be a starting line and ran it both ways just to try and get through it fast. And it still took an hour and a half just to get through the 100. It was insane. But it was crazy. It was pouring rain. It was freezing cold.
No.
It was a tough time to not be running around, but we did our best. We got through it, and it was great. It was cool. Hoping for a little bit better weather, next time on Thursday.
Yeah,
but
that would be good.
Definitely want to shout out my hurdle crew. We had not done, in practice, we had not gone over the full race. There's 8 hurdles in a 300 meter hurdle race. Mm-hmm. We had gone over in a 300, like maybe 3 maximum at a time. So they but I mean, we're working out, so you don't like run them the multiple times for safety reasons and stuff. Yeah. But they all finished. A couple of them fell, got back up, still finished, which I think is massively impressive to be able to do that. And just cross that finish line. But they did great. Yeah, they did great. And there was this guy from another school who apparently is like the best hurdler in the entire nation. And he ran a blistering pace and like beat our top guy by like 7 seconds in like a 40-second race. It was insane.
It's a bit quick. Goodness me.
absolutely nuts. Like this guy's gonna.
How old is he? Is he the future?
He is the future. He's a sophomore, so he has this season and 2 more seasons in high school before he goes to the Olympics or something. I don't even know.
He's only going to get
ridiculous.
Better.
Yeah.
Flip.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So that guy's nuts. But my crew did strong. I think we got second and third.
Shout out to Jensen's crew.
After that guy.
We're here for that.
But it's been fun. I have a ton to learn. I'm very new to coaching in general. I just finished my first season as a volunteer basketball coach also. That went quite well. Love that.
Shout out to that team
and
too. Come on.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. Made it to the semifinals in the playoffs, so doing well. It's been fun. I've ton to learn, but I'm looking forward to it. It's been a blast so far.
Step at a time.
Yeah, highly recommend. If you have been involved in sports in the past and, maybe definitely go out and run as Joel's doing here. Like it's just, as you said, good community, great exercise, lifts your mood.
Mental health as well.
It's good for your brain, literally, and your body.
Yeah.
But if you want to get involved more than just doing it, and you like working with kids, tons of opportunities to volunteer coach. And potentially, even find a job. I mean, schools are always looking for coaches. It can be hard to find people that are willing to put in that time because, I mean, the hourly rate for the amount of time you actually put in is not that great. But it's something I enjoy doing, and it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of extra pay as well.
It's the fulfillment more than anything as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Surely, like you're actually providing something really positive, really uplifting for these kids at quite a vulnerable age where you can really sort of sow and like have quite positive mindsets as part of who they are. Have you had to like kind of brush up on your knowledge and get back into the hurdling to kind of like to wake up the muscles in your own body?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and again, I'm not running the workouts, but I do like demonstrate how to do some of the drills and stuff like that. And cool. I feel in the age, but I'm trying to. On that note, I'm trying to be more active myself, and just get out and throw the football with a friend, run some routes. Just because, day-to-day life, I don't move around at all. Like I look at my steps at the end of the day, and it's like under 5,000 most days, which is nothing. It's like stand up, go to the fridge, come back. So not quite, but shout out to my wife, B. She has been putting in the work at her job. She's on her feet all the time. She works at a children's museum. So she's averaging like 13,000 per day. It's crazy.
Good for her.
So lately with the track stuff, I've been getting to around like 10K. So it's better.
Nice.
It's definitely better. So I'm hoping to juice that up a little bit more. It's a little bit tough being in a classroom for most of the day in terms of like getting those steps. But I'm making a little bit of an effort to, at least when I have the time, when I'm on the track, I'm moving around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But definitely trying to brush up on my knowledge. I think I'm pretty okay with like the basics, but for sure the kids who are more experienced, like, the little things to adjust, being able to see that and identify that. And like, so that's kind of my goal this year, is to be able to like help not only the beginners, because I think I can basically, help them get over a hurdle, be like, oh, hey, bring that leg up a little bit more. Okay. Bring the knee in here. Got stuff like that. The basics, I think I've got fairly well handled, but I want to be able to do more of the kind of fine tuning and, help them shave off those like fractions of a second within their race by like, adjusting, an arm angle here or, trail leg there, stuff like that, I think is what's really cool. But as you said, like,
how long were you doing hurdles for? Like, you were doing it for quite a while, weren't you? I remember it being
I did
a
2 seasons.
Season of your life.
Yeah. So I did.
What, is that 2 years?
Yeah. So I did sophomore year of high school when we were back here, and that was my first time ever doing it. Improved a ton that year. And then we were back in Uganda for another year, and then my senior year I was able to do it again. So I did two full seasons. But I've been like,
that's a good amount of time, man. That's a good amount of time.
It's not bad. I've been kind of hurdle adjacent for longer than that, just because Kyan and Tegan also did it. So
that's a great phrase. I've been hurdle adjacent. I love that. I love that.
so I've been around it, and I've been watching a lot of high school track through them doing it.
You've been around hurdles. Cool. Do you know what I mean?
I've been around.
This guy knows his hurdles, man. He knows his hurdles. Don't test the boy on his hurdles, man.
Yes, exactly.
Put some respect on his name.
Exactly. No, but I like what you said about just kind of the aspect of like putting positivity out there and like pouring into people. I think I've been thinking about that a lot recently. It just feels like there's a lot of negativity and like just animosity of people just like picking a side of whatever issue you want to choose, and then just like being angry at the people on the other side. And I think kind of the way to be able to combat that is just creating people that are more empathetic. And we've spoken about this a little bit before, but part of what you need for that is you need positive role models in your life and people that, you know, you can think back on either in the present or in the future and be like, hey, that coach, that teacher, that coworker, that boss, whatever, they saw me and they encouraged me and they helped me along. And then you can be that person for somebody else, right? It's just like it's a snake, and you go down the line of just like one person helps the other, helps the other, helps the other. So I'm praying I can be that for people. That's kind of my goal, is to be a listening coach and somebody who's like, okay, I hear your injury. You think you're okay. We're not going to run that. All right, that's fine. Take it easy. I want you to be healthy, be safe. You know, let's stretch it, ice it, move on to the next. There's more important things than getting in this race right at this moment. And just kind of building those connections, which so far all the kids have been great. It's super fun to walk around and people are just like, hey coach, then I'll just go chat about whatever. I love that. That's like my favorite part of teaching is just connecting, you know.
That is cool.
So being able to do that in a whole nother kind of more fun atmosphere as well is I love it. It's been great. So definitely looking forward to doing more coaching, you know, in the future, whether it's as a teacher or something else. Definitely it'll be something I continue doing moving forward.
For sure. I think it's a great thing to be involved with, and I can't wait to hear about it more. Because I think, again, you know, part of what you're doing is you're looking outside of yourself. You're not looking at actually, you know, what do I need? Because at the end of the day, and this is true for, you know, you for listening or if you're watching, like your time is valuable, and that's, you know, that's completely valid. But then when you use that and choose to use it, spending it on other people and actually being there for them, I think really that's part of who we are meant to be as people, is that we're meant to serve and we're meant to, you know, actually, look after other people. And that doesn't mean just completely ignore what you want or what you need, but it means, okay, actually, how can I be more caring to those around me? And you start to realize actually the real joy that can come from that. Because I completely agree, Jens, you know, that animosity towards other people, everyone's very on edge and very like slow to trust because maybe they've been hurt or maybe they've seen things of what's going on in the world at the moment, and people just retract. And you know, it's not even their fault. Like, that's completely valid, but it's worth remembering at the end of the day that hurt people. You know, I got hit with that the other day, and I hadn't heard it in ages, and I was like, it's so true. You know, the sooner that we can show grace and be like, look, okay, actually, I don't understand your situation, I don't understand what you're going through, but I can see maybe a glimpse of it in the way you're acting to me, but I'm not gonna put that on you. You know, I'm not gonna say, right, well, that makes you a bad person straight away. You know, that it oftentimes it's actually nothing that you've done. If someone's upset at you, it's actually not even about you. It's about what they're wrestling with inside. And as soon as you can, you know, click on that, suddenly it's like, right, it's much easier to show grace at that point, and then they can let down their walls, you can let down their walls, or your walls rather, and then suddenly we're both in a better place. But you know, it is a step at a time. It is a step at a time. But I think it's just being conscious of that. You know, like it may not be something that changes like you or your family or your community or even the world straight away, but what you can do is take a step in the right direction at the start of each and every day, and just choose that decision, and trust that it's going to be okay, and it is going to work itself out. I love it when we have these moments on the SpewnedIt Podcast, because, you know, like, we mess about and we chat about all sorts of stuff. But actually, like, I think Jensen, like, you and I have been in each other's corner, and we've spoken a lot of wisdom over each other as well. So it's nice to be able to, you know, share that and remind you again, listening or watching, that this is a very safe space. You know, we're here to talk about these kind of things, and just to provide that community. But yeah, Jen, super proud of you. for for all the coaching
Thanks,
stuff
man. You
you're
too.
doing. Like
you too.
genuinely
that runs cool.
cannot wait to.
Really
Yeah, thanks,
happy
man.
for you,
I appreciate
That's
that.
awesome. That's
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, it was cool to set the PB. That was nice today. Yeah, look, we'll have to talk about this more in the future.
Definitely.
If you've got any tips for Jensen, his coaching, or for me defeating another park run maybe in the future, then do comment on the video or comment if you're listening on Spotify as well. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share the podcast with your friends. We'd love to be able to just get the message out about this positivity and community that we've got going on here. But thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate you taking the time. And until next time, we've been the SpewnedIt Boys. God bless. Money.